Hello, and welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the podcast where three nerds sit around and talk about nerdy fiction. And oftentimes I finish the book, but I've been told it's okay in this case, so it feels just like high school again.
Adam didn't get to finish.
Ah, well.
Oh, cue the sad trombone.
You can't hear it, but it's playing.
We'll assume it made the noise, yeah.
Yeah. All
I
right.
actually have a trombone here.
Oh, yeah. That was his shining moment. We took it from him.
I bring it every podcast. I've been waiting.
Yeah. Mike's a tromboner.
Oh,
Is
well.
there something funny about that word?
No.
This is the guy who also laughs at the word pianist, too, so don't be offended.
Yeah.
On these weird notes, I'm Adam.
I'm Shaun.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here talking about the surprise beer first, before we get into William Gibson's Neuromancer. We have this tradition where Shaun brings a surprise beer for us, and invariably it's a beer he hates, but he buys for Mike and I, which I really appreciate. So
Good dude.
Yeah.
There are times when I'll buy like a beer that I'm willing to quaff and excited about, but sometimes I gotta make sure I throw you guys one too.
I appreciate that. Dude hates IPAs. Every time it's like a double dry hopped IPA or a New England IPA. But
There's been a few. I appreciate you throwing us a quaff. Thank
there
you.
you go. Quaffed, indeed.
You guys ready for this one?
Yeah, what do you have, man?
All right. Are you reaching to my nether area? All right. So I struggled at our local Wegmans after I bought the Wegmans Chinese food for our previous cast.
Which was fantastic.
It was really good.
It was very good.
Yeah, it's very good American Chinese food. To find a beer, because they have a very good beer selection there. Wegmans, by the way, if you're listening, we take sponsorships.
For sure.
We still have openings. And I'm like looking for something. I wanted something that was either like a multiverse kind of like play, but I'm like, well, we already kind of got stuff for that. Then I'm like, something that's like cyberpunk, right? Because that's what Neuromancer, it's not the first cyberpunk, but it's like the first widely recognized major cyberpunk novel that we call cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. And I kept coming back to this one. Admittedly, it was probably the most expensive beer at Wegmans, and I'm like, that's why I kept going, like, do I really want this? And of course, as you called it, it is a beer that I am going to be loath to drink.
Nailed it.
But
Adam did nail this. Wow.
it's called Neon Gleam.
Okay.
And the first thing I think of when I think of cyberpunk is neon.
Oh, and that word, I would love to do a control F on like a cyber or like an electronic version of the book and see how many times we're described as neon lights.
Oh, it's got like
There's a lot of it.
80s,
Oh my gosh,
like in the background you can see like there's like, well, I'll give you guys a can to look at, like the
Yeah,
80s
pass it
video
around,
game
thank
kind of
you.
look to it. So it's definitely of the era as the aesthetic goes.
Now that I know how much you spent on it, I'm going to be sure to hate it.
Oh, it's Other Half Brewing.
Other half is always
But
good.
It's a partnership with Omegang.
Omegang,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's
Cooperstown and
I don't
other
think
New York place.
does Wegmans have like a beer meister in all of their stores now? There's this guy who came out and asked me if I needed help, and then he was like trying to give me like tips on Other Half and all this, and I'm like, I just wanted the beer because of the can, bro.
maybe. I mean,
I don't know. It was pretty cool.
it would be a pretty dope job to be like a cicerone who works at Wegmans.
Yeah, you're just the beer
Honestly.
guy for
Yeah.
Wegmans, you know.
Make their purchases.
He probably didn't even work there. He's just an enthusiast.
Yeah. Or he was somebody from like Other Half or Omegang.
No,
who
he
was
had a
like,
Wegmans regalia on,
damn.
so he was definitely of their corporate background.
Well, I noticed that it's 7.5% alcohol, so I'm glad I'm finishing the last sip of straight bourbon in my glass.
Yes.
I just did that, yeah, as Shaun was telling us where he got
I
it.
have a fold-out couch if you guys need to stay, and a camper outside, so we're good.
Early disc golf appointment in the morning, my friend.
Okay, well, we gotta
Can't
make
miss
sure
that.
Get your glass of water going there. So this is part of the OMG series out of Cooperstown, New York. Man, this is gonna be hard to read in this light.
It
but
is, because it's like mint green background with like teal green.
and they're
writing.
full pint cans too. I
It's
just
a
saw that
very-
on there.
Very
nice.
cool can design.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
It's got the pizza and the planet or whatever that is. Was that like a hopping Santa there?
I think it's like a gnome or
A
something.
gnome?
It looks like
Generic
something
Mario.
that Wintermute would have come up with. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of us.
Well done.
All right, let's see what I can come up with here. Introducing Neon Gleam, a thrilling collaboration between New York brewers Omegang and Other Half That's a period. Far from your typical IPA, Neon Gleam radiates with the use of sundew yeast, a Belgian strain that is known to blend fruity nuances with bold hop aromas and flavors. Double dry hopping, I almost said dry humping, with Citra,
That was the other cast.
Nelson Sauvin, and Motauka hops, was a natural choice, as this collaboration aimed, God, it's a fucking book, aimed to bridge the vibrant zest of modern IPAs with the refined elegance of Belgian-style brewing. Developed and brewed in unity by Brewery Amagang and Other Half Brewing Company.
Well done, indeed.
Thank you.
2 quick points. One is for our listeners at home. It actually, just so there's no confusion, it actually does say that's a period in the tasting notes.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. I just took it for granted that everyone knew.
That. Thank you. Yeah.
And second observation is just listening to you read these. I'm like, how do you get into this shit? Like, how does that become your career? Writing the shit that goes on beer cans. I think I would have been
writing
good
copy?
at that.
I think you could write copy pretty well, yeah.
It's just loaded with adjectives. Like, I'm sure they just hit the thesaurus, man. Like, vibrant zest. The guy started with like bright flavor, and he ended up with vibrant zest.
Yeah.
It's probably just an intern's job.
I want it. I don't care. I'll do it. I'll do it for free.
Yep, go to thesaurus. Sadly, though, honestly, ChatGPT probably could have wrote that. It's not great.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
Maybe.
like you said, it's adjective soup.
Yeah.
A word salad, but sorry, Other Half and Amagang. The beer's going to be great, I'm sure. But
But what if it doesn't?
Mike would happily write your copy.
Yes.
Why don't you pay him 7 times whatever you paid the other person to write this, and he'll do a better job.
You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to open this.
Crack these bitches.
Crack some cans.
Oh, I got all over my pants.
Mine opened perfectly, if it's any consolation.
IPAs don't like me.
I have no problem opening a can here with one hand.
I feel like I just got hot dog ketchup all over me.
Oh, man, that is really good.
That is good.
That is really good, man.
It's a very, very clean finish.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't linger.
It doesn't. It's not overpowering like a lot of IPAs can be. It's
already
clearly,
hates it. Shaun hates
I
it.
can't see it in the glass, but it tastes like a hazier IPA.
Would you like a glass?
It does.
No, I'm good. But and I always, in my mind, I always classify IPAs into either orange juice or grapefruit juice. I like both, but they kind of fit into those 2 buckets in my head. This is more of an orange juice, I would say.
Yeah, I get that totally. And I think it's because of the yeast they used, which I don't have off the top of my head. Sundew yeast. Sounds like a orange fruit kind of yeast thing.
Sun-kissed.
Yep. Shaun is grimacing at his undoubtedly $25 purchase here.
Shaun, I'd offer you the bourbon, but I know you don't like that either. So.
I will finish the beer. It's not for me, guys. It's an IPA.
It's fine. I mean,
It's an IPA. Damn you and your perfectly relevant can. I could be drinking a stout right now and enjoying it.
I'm sure somewhere
buddy.
there's a stout.
Someday, somehow.
Somewhere there's a cyberpunk stout.
Next time I'm going to get the real surprise. I'm going to give you guys fucking Jenny or something, and we're going to drink that, and that'll be
We did that.
Oh, you're right. Damn.
We did cream ale.
Yeah.
I already blew it.
It's been done.
Fuck.
It's fine. Get the hand grenades. That's fine.
We'll do Red Dog.
Ooh,
Good luck.
Can you still find that?
I don't
No,
think so.
we looked. My friends and I had quite a few times. We've done like go to your convenience store and get the shittiest beer you can buy and blind taste test it. You can't find Red Dog anymore,
That was my
unfortunately.
dad's go-to for a few years back in the early 90s.
Yep.
Late
I
80s.
distinctly remember the can on that and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I guess
The commercials, they had that cool ass little bulldog that ran around.
maybe I'll get some Bush.
No, don't do that. No.
No.
Light.
Thanks. Still no.
Still no.
Still no.
Bush is,
Get
man,
Steel
like,
Reserve if you're going to do that.
God.
I am not a snob by any means. I drink plenty
I
of
am.
cheap beer,
It's fine.
but Bush, it's just the smell of it. Like, it smells like a fart in a can. It's so gross.
It smells like a dirty
I guess it's
Bush.
better than drinking a can full of cat piss. I mean,
Well, sure. Well, should we save ourselves by talking about the book then?
sure.
All right. So you've already kind of alluded to it. It's William Gibson, and it's... So, Shaun, you were saying it's not the first cyberpunk
No.
book ever, but one that is probably the most credited as being
It definitely sits,
genre defining.
like in pop culture, in the pop culture consciousness. It's the kind of the OG. It's the one that like, I mean, what is it? 1983 or 1984? Right?
I think it's 84.
And it's the first big one. It's like the one that like everything followed from it. So.
It set a lot of the trends,
Yeah.
the tone, the aesthetic and things.
Right.
It's solidified or canonified, I suppose.
Good word.
What? Thank you.
Maybe you should wrate beer
Did
copy.
I make that up?
You speechify pretty well. Wouldn't it be canonized?
It's good and everything.
The book had a vibrant zest, I feel like.
84 is right, yeah.
Is it canonized or is it canonical?
Canonical? It's canonical.
Canonical
I
is
guess
an
it's
adjective. You're looking for the
canonized.
verb.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's solidified the, it made real.
That's how you know I'm too sober, by the way, when I can use adjective and verb correctly.
At least it wasn't adverbs.
Ah, fuck adverbs. Anyways, they do things so shittily. And so, there you go. There's the English teacher joke of the afternoon.
Yes.
All right, so we get a burnt-out VR cyber world thief who gets enlisted into this scheme, I guess we can call it.
It's essentially a
scheme.
heist, yeah.
Yeah,
Is he like a net jockey? Something like that?
cowboy.
I don't know.
Yeah, they call him a cowboy.
This book actually, I think, also brought into pop cultural discourse, like certain words like
Matrix.
the Matrix. There's the concept of how the internet works was, this is back with DARPANet was the only way you could actually dial into anything through a modem. And like this guy was thinking so far, like generationally beyond where they even were at that point. It's pretty remarkable. So a lot of the terms that we use today came from this.
Getting jacked in. I think that was a phrase that came from this. There's a great Futurama
We're getting jacked off.
there's a great Futurama where they play on that, where Bender keeps the phrase they use for his addiction to electricity is jacking on.
Oh, yeah, I know
I remember that one.
Well, it's funny, like, it doesn't feel that old. Maybe because it started or made canon so many popular words.
It was canonicized.
There you go.
That was it. Yeah.
Anti-disestablished canonicalism. Terrorism. Because honestly, this is the copy I have from the library, and
I should have brought my copy.
I'm gonna buy it. I've already jumping to the end here. I'm gonna buy
Add
it
it to your Canonorama.
Yes.
Yours is so beautiful. Mine is, I bought it years ago when I bought it used. I don't remember where. It might have been fucking eBay for all I remember. It was a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it's an original copy though. The pages are all yellow. The cover is completely different. And it looks super 80s.
Well, I thought like, oh shit, this has got to be like 2018 because it's pristine. It's a brand new library copy that I just luckily got. But the copyright's 2000 on it. And that was
no shit.
That was renewed like 3 times. The first one was 84. So you guys are like, this is like OG, and I'm like, 2000. Sure, that feels right. No, it was 84. He was 16 years ahead of what I thought he was.
Right.
Which is goddamn amazing.
Yeah, that
makes
would
me
have
feel
2000 would have put him well after Snow Crash and after the Matrix. After a lot of things.
It's interesting too. He's like my dad's age. And it's hard to think of someone from that generation doing this, you know? But it's like, obviously that's
well, if that's
really
your
shallow,
jam.
like vision of me. But I just keep thinking of like boomers and like coming up with this kind of stuff and being like, man, it just feels like it's just not in them. But here we are.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I don't know if do you have a structure that we're going to follow here, or are we just riffing? Because I got thoughts.
We can totally riff. And one of the reasons why we're riffing is not only because I didn't get to cast notes this time. He takes a sip of his beer for that loss.
I'll join you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll pass this time.
Also because I didn't finish the book, and not because I didn't
Drink your
like
cat
it.
piss.
Well, drink your cat piss and you like it, I'll squeeze it out of the litter for you.
Oh, God.
That's a reference to something we were talking about prior to the previous cast. But honestly, like, I just didn't get to finishing it. I'm on page like 130 or something, 122. And so, like, take the lead. We'll follow your ideas, and I'll just chime in as if I was smart enough.
Oh, no, I have thoughts. I don't.
I think at that stage, though, you've already met the major characters.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Case, the Razor Girl. What's her name?
Molly. Yep.
Molly.
You've got Armitage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's the other guy that does the, like, illusions?
Oh, the guy who gets high and like does all that stuff around.
Yeah, he's got
when
the
they're
bionic
on-
implants. He makes people see things.
Yeah,
Fuck, who is that?
The dude who betrays him in the end.
it's
The Finn.
No, the Finn is their like cybersecurity expert who gives them the clean room
Oh, right.
to talk.
Yeah, no,
Give me
that
a
was a
sec.
minor character. This is the... He's like Mysterio from
Wait, is it
Spider-Man.
Riviera.
Riviera. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was wrong.
But you didn't get to the part where they're up in space and they got like the Jamaican guys.
Just
That's
got
who I
there.
was just thinking.
Just got there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you basically have the main components of the whole story then.
That's good because I was taking notes, like diligently actually taking notes, and my notes are like, so this is a heist.
Dork.
Who did what? Right? That's fine because I didn't finish it. So it makes it look like I did something here. Like, as far as I got, like, plot, Case, Molly, and Armitage stole an AI. But now what? Who runs the Armitage AI? What the fuck are they trying to do with the flatline? Like, there you go. That's my understanding of the plot.
Yeah,
I get it.
So this is one of those books that like I saw a review of it. There's a booktuber I like to watch who did a review of this, and I think he said it best. I think this is the truest thing you can say about this book. There is so much shit you're just not gonna get, and that's cool. Just embrace that and just like live in the world of the book while you're
That's
reading
what I
it.
tell my students all the time. I'm like, you don't have to get every single nuance. Just get the gist.
Right.
And you'll enjoy it.
But that said, you know, that's for high school students. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we usually get a lot of what we're reading. This particular crowd, but like this book, like the first time I read it was probably 12 or 13 years ago. It was a long time ago. And my memory of that reading experience held up exactly this time.
Wow.
While I'm reading it, it's like half the time I'm like, what the fuck is actually happening here? I have to stop and reread things constantly, and I have to read it very slowly. And that's just to have a basic understanding of what's happening. That's it. A basic understanding of what's happening. And yet, despite all that, I loved the book the first time, and I loved it just as much this time. And I think the reasons for that are because, to me, I don't think of this as like a technology cyberpunky thing. I think of this as like a fucking detective novel. It's like a fucking noir.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy it so much, man. Right from like the opening sentence. Can I borrow your book? Like the opening sentence is one of my favorite sentences in all of like literary history.
When you're done, I have something to add to that specifically.
So the opening sentence is, the sky above the port was the color of television tuned to a dead channel. Such a cool ass line. It sets the tone so beautifully. And you can hear, like, you can picture watching like an old noir movie with like a saxophone playing and like, you know, a rainy city street and a narrator saying that line. You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, I read the foreword to this that Gibson wrote to his own book, and he's like, I regret that line. He regrets it. Because he's like, it presumes you know what a dead TV channel looks like, and if you don't, you don't give a fuck.
He's overthinking it.
Well, and that was my introduction to him as an author, is I'm going to overthink everything.
Right.
And then maybe put it in the book and maybe not put it in the book, and probably write 3 different opening sentences and pick one. I love the image. I don't like it, but I'm going to stick with it, is William Gibson eventually. In the end, that's what he said with the foreword. So,
well, sometimes they say the artist is like the least positioned to you know properly judge their work, and based on what you just said, I would say that's true of William Gibson then, because that to me that's honestly one of my favorite opening lines in literature.
You made an interesting point that made me think of something when you said it's like a noir, and I think that's one of the key tenements of cyberpunk as a genre, is that noir aspect of it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also feel like maybe cyberpunk is a kind of a misnomer then, because it's not really like punk. It's just call it, and cyber, the word cyber comes from William Gibson.
Right.
Like cyber noir probably is a better moniker for this style of fiction.
I've often thought about that, actually. Like, I don't know where the word punk fits in exactly, because cyberpunk spawned all these offshoots, like steampunk and oh shoot, what's the other one? It's not iron punk. It's like something else. But
shit, I know what you're talking about.
But it's like more like the industrial age version of steampunk. And there's a lot of them. If you look it up online, there's a lot of the punks, and they all came from cyberpunk. And I'm like, how did that word even get attached to it?
Yeah, it just seems odd, right?
I'd be curious to see the etymology of that word.
So, if I had to make a guess, my thought is that this came out in '84, and the idea of being online was underground and like forbidden.
Yeah,
you know,
that
like
makes sense.
think of when did the movie Hackers come out, right? Like that was, if you were online for illicit things,
Right.
to steal shit. You were a punk. You were outside of general
Right.
culture.
Yeah, the
And
underground.
That's why
that
I
makes
think.
sense.
That's why I think.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's true. or
Good
not.
deductive reasoning there, Adam.
There you
Nice
go.
job. Get a bell for that.
Thank
yes.
you. I didn't read the book,
that.
but I'll damn sure English teacher
That
this shit.
that definitely makes sense because it was more of like an esoteric community back then, as opposed to like everyone.
Also, my other question is, when did Blade Runner come out?
81.
God damn, the 80s were the best time
So
for cyber fiction.
he was clearly influenced by Blade Runner, because every time I envision the world in this book, I'm thinking it looks exactly like Blade Runner
Yeah,
in my mind.
Well,
because it's always at night. There's a lot of rain.
Neon.
There's a lot of the neon lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to know how long it took him to write it, to know, was he able to read it. Sean makes a face and gasps at the beer that I'm thoroughly enjoying.
It's like taking medicine when you're a child.
It's funny you say that it, Mike, it reads like a noir, because I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, this is Thomas Pynchon with technology.
yeah,
And I love Pynchon, so I'm
Right.
like, I'm here for it
right.
all day. That's why I read so slowly, because I read
Yes.
that slowly in the same way.
Right.
It's part of a trilogy?
Yeah, Mona Lisa Overdrive is the next one. I've never read them. I'm just aware of them. I forget the name of the third one.
It's the Sprawl trilogy. I had no
Yeah.
idea. Count Zero.
Yeah, that's the third one.
That's
yeah.
the second one. Mona Lisa Overdrive.
Oh,
is
that's the
one.
third one. Okay, yeah. I haven't read either of the next two.
Well, I
I
guess-
did read one other book by him that was a lot more recent. It was like a 2000 something. I think it was called maybe Peripheral or something
The
like that.
Peripheral. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that was
listed
it.
in my book.
Yeah, and I remember reading it, and I didn't like it as much, but that was because his style had changed. I need to reread it because his style had changed so much by that time. I expected it to be like Neuromancer, and it wasn't. And I think that's why I didn't really appreciate it that much.
Gotcha.
That's fair. That's fair. I think one of the things that makes me slow down so much is like the transitions between thoughts are not explained.
Right,
So, all of a sudden you get Molly talking jive, and I'm like, what
Right.
fuck?
right.
The sign for she's jive. Oh, it's hand signals used by criminals. Okay, I got you.
Hand jive.
Yeah,
Hand jive.
It's definitely, Pinchon is a great analogy here because, like, if you read some of his, even probably the simplest of his classic books is Crying of Lot 49.
Yeah.
And even that is like it's a fucking novella, but it takes a while. If you want to get it, not because of what's happening, but because of how he writes it. And that's exactly how this book is. At no point in this book is what's happening that complicated.
Right.
Right? It's not like it's some fucking Inception level shit where they're like 3 levels deep in a dream and you don't know whose dream they're in and there's totems. It's not like all that shit. It's like what's happening once you puzzle it out is pretty straightforward, but the writing style is it's dense. Like it's loaded with detail for one thing. You read any given sentence and like there's 8 things to picture. Like he describes like the lights and like the dust on someone's shirt and like all this shit. And if you actually are like me, like you try to picture this shit like movie scenes while you're reading, that's going to slow you down. But then as you said, it's also the way he describes the action. He does not hold your hand at all.
No,
he doesn't like
you. Figure it out
set
yourself.
things up and lead you into it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Inception connection, though. That's actually a pretty apt comparison because if you think about once they get to what's the thing in space called?
The Jamaicans, man.
No,
With the gun. No.
They call it a yacht at one point.
no.
But it's like,
this the place where the rich people live, and
Right.
then there's the one where the poor people are. Then they go from one to the other, but it's
it's the Marcus Garvey is like they describe it like a tugboat or something like
no,
that.
but
Yeah,
that's like there's
but
like the
it's
space
the size of,
station.
like, a bunch
That's
of
what I'm
steel
thinking. Like
drums.
once
Right.
they get to that point when they're actually going after Wintermute and Neuromancer and stuff, it's like wow, that is very Inception-esque.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this isn't a movie yet. It's
I
just,
think
that is surprising. It probably
I think it's
is
happening.
in works.
it needs to. I mean, not that I want to see someone else's vision for it, because as you said, this is the kind of writing style that really perfectly lends itself to a personal vision of what you interpret the guy is putting on the page. But I still want to see what someone else saw. You know?
Yeah. I do not want Stanley Kubrick touching this film, though.
Oh God, no.
Stay away.
No, that's just too much going on. But I think,
especially since he's dead, that would be weird.
That would be even weird.
AI could bring him back. It'd be fine. You're right.
That's true.
They'll
I
just
forgot
get Steven
Stanley
Spielberg
Kubrick
to
was
do
dead.
it in his
Forgot he was
style.
dead. No.
What's false?
False.
What's the
That's a word
what's
joke.
the Inception? Who is it?
Nolan.
Nolan. Yeah, Nolan. I could see fucking nailing this shit.
No one could do it because
Yeah.
he's got the right tone, like we
Yes.
saw in Dark Knight.
Yes.
I was going to say Denis Villeneuve, but he doesn't want to do more sci-fi. He doesn't want to be
but he
just
would
a sci-fi
also
guy.
crush it.
He would.
crush it.
Yeah, he would.
At least get Hans Zimmer on the soundtrack, please.
Whoa.
Yep. As they travel up to space, or as like the Case is walking past the anachronistic phone booths, and they start
Yes.
ringing as Wintermuth Wintermuth's trying to get to him. It's like, and you just like shocked, stunned, stare at it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So is it like actually in the works right
I'm
now?
trying to look it up, but
Speaking of
I'm
training
being
AI.
asked to prove that I'm not a robot.
Is it?
And
You are training.
I
AI
always
as
have
we
the
speak.
same thought when this happens, which is that I fucking wish I was a robot.
While Mike's doing that, you want to talk about like?
Yeah, I'm
Molly,
clicking
speaking of
bicycles.
robots
You
and
guys
stuff?
talk.
So Molly's one of those really interesting characters where it's like, I think intentionally she's supposed to be like sexually arousing.
Well, he sleeps with her in the
Yeah,
first
well,
like
they have
5 pages of her
right.
seeing him.
There's a completely like non-committal sexual relationship that they have, but like I guess the way he describes her, the way she moves, the way she's like a very powerful character, you're like, man, I want to fuck that girl.
A femme fatale. It's just
Yeah.
I saw her in that way. I mean, she's got the flechettes. She's got her nails that are
Yeah, she's just
Wolverine-like.
But it kind of reminds me almost like the Aeon Flux.
Yeah, I thought
Like
about that too.
That kind of like was probably inspired by this character, but she's a very like I almost like needs like her own story in a way.
What's her name from Resident Evil? What's the protagonist from Resident Evil 2 as well?
Oh, you think of the actor or
No, just the character,
I don't know.
right? But you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
the same sort of like
Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
Yeah, plays the character like will absolutely cut a bitch
Yes.
as soon as she looks at you.
I
Looks fantastic in leather. Thank you, please.
find that extremely alluring.
Yeah.
So William Gibson, well done, because you kind of found that something that I enjoy.
So this is a Nerds of the Old Republic breaking news story.
Wait, is there like a thing on the board?
Yeah, do we have a breaking news sound effect? Although Adam just did it very
Sad
well.
trombone again.
I can hit the harp.
No, but a Neuromancer TV series is coming to Apple TV.
That actually makes some
Done.
sense.
And the
Yeah,
most
actually.
recent update of this is 5 days ago, so this is
Apple TV
pretty
though?
recent.
They're gonna get my
Yeah.
money again. I paid for it. I paid for it for lessons in chemistry because my wife and I enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
I think they do really well with those limited run series,
right.
I'll give them that.
right?
Masters
I
of the Air
watched-
was really
Yeah.
powerful. So I'll give they've done good work. I trust them with the property then.
the sci-fi dystopian Silo was very good too.
Didn't
if
they
you see it.
do not Anthem, fuck that bitch. What is it called?
I know what you're thinking. I'm like, yeah.
You know what I read it and you and I have talked about actually doing it before, where like the people in the future and like they store away knowledge for thousands of years to try and recreate the empire that fell. Fuck.
It sounds fucking awesome.
Every sci-fi
Isaac Asimov.
ever.
Oh yeah. The
Oh, I'm thinking of an anthology. That's not it.
It's not.
Fuck. Damn my feeble brain.
yeah, it's not his robot
Damn you,
series.
7.5.
It's
Oh,
his.
God.
It's. I figured if I said that sentence slowly enough, it would come to me.
Yeah, it's not the robots. What is
This is an embarrassing Nerds of the Old Republic.
We're gonna cut this and come back to it.
Yeah. Wait.
Mark.
Go past this. Go past this.
Why can't we think of this? This is terrible.
We're drunk. It's fine.
It's a foundation.
Thank you.
Foundation. That's what it is.
Thank you. Ding for that.
That shouldn't get a ding. That was
No,
terrible.
it was a lip
We'll track
ding
that
anyway.
ding. It was a
We'll
bad
cut
ding.
everything else out, and he gets a semi-ding.
Yeah, just where Sean says, "What is the?" I'll go foundation immediately.
Yes.
Do the editing that
Let's
way.
go back to talk about the Razor Girl.
Molly. Let's go
Molly,
back to
yeah,
talking
let's
about
go.
Molly.
Yeah, Molly was cool, man.
Was she
Well,
named
that's
after the
fuck.
drug? I mean, like,
I don't know, but I was kind of, while I was proving that I wasn't a robot on one side, I was also kind of listening to what you guys were saying with the other side of my brain. And you're right, like she's very like right toward the end there's like that scene where she comes down the staircase into like that pool area where like fucking, who are all those people? Riviera and 3 Jane and like whatever.
Yeah.
And she's got like the fucking hand grenade in her hand. And even the way it's narrated is like, for a moment, she looked like all the classic heroes out of all the greatest fiction.
Yes.
But then like it just doesn't work because of fucking, what's his name? The like ninja dude that works for them. And
yeah.
but like, yeah, I mean, she's a fucking badass heroine.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, now I haven't read the next books in this trilogy, but I'm pretty sure like they're about her. Like I think Mona Lisa Overdrive is about her.
Well, I'll sign me up. I will be reading them now. Summer reads.
Yeah. Well, our summer reads are booked.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we
Next
got a
summer.
pretty major one coming.
Yeah. I like how she was used to introduce most of the like technology of the world.
Yeah.
You know, the stem patches or whatever to heal her.
Yeah.
Her neural or her eye implants, right?
Yeah.
You get the cool glasses, and I picture the glasses from Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Who's the character with the teeth for eyes? He wears like the
Oh, right.
right.
The
So,
Merovingian?
I'm-
Yeah.
Not the Merovingian.
That's Matrix,
No,
but
that's
yes,
Matrix.
it's something
It's-
like that.
yeah.
It's
the
it's like a biblical name or something,
yeah,
right?
the Babylonian or some shit.
Corinthian.
The Corinthian.
Yes, the
thing.
Corinthian.
Dude, I'm fucking nailing this shit
Yes.
tonight. It's just taking me a while.
Just one. That's fine. So I thought that was cool because if I'm reading like a cyberpunk or something that's like sci-fi dystopian, I want that. Like, give me the cool stuff that I can't have right now.
I love the fact that like Case lives in a coffin.
Yeah.
And
That
it's like
felt right,
very
actually.
Japanese, very like right point on, and like that's where they do their first bit of fucking,
Right.
and like
You can rent coffins at American airports. I mean, they're not called coffins, but you rent a
Right.
sleeping chamber. Like, I saw them when we went on our vacation last year.
unbelievable.
Yep.
It's just the whole aesthetic of it is extremely cool. But I also love how like the characters have this almost cool indifference to each other. Like, even Case, who we're supposed to be he's the analog for us in this like world. Aside from his drug addiction and all of his hang-ups and all that kind of stuff,
Being a terrible criminal.
yeah, and that part of it, he the most feels like the guy out of water and like just trying to float. But it's, I don't know, they have that like really like, I guess the best way to put it is that 80s, 90s like detached coolness.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
There's all
John
these
Wayne.
points in the book where like we're actually getting the action. We're getting it from his perspective as he's getting it through Molly's perspective.
Right.
And there's multiple times where she's in like really bad danger.
Yeah.
And then it ends with like, what does it say? He
I flipped back. to
flipped
the side,
flipped
right?
out or flipped
Yeah.
back or whatever the phrase is. Yeah, like he's, and he just goes back and he's talking to what's his name, like the Jamaican dude's name, like
She got fucked up pretty
Malcolm.
hard in that one too. Like,
in a few different places. She has her
Yeah.
leg broken at one point, and
she keeps going like
Yeah.
like a Terminator.
and he just kind of like signs out and like goes about like his work day.
Yeah, she's getting hurt. I'm going to go numb out over
Yeah, there's
here.
other stuff to get done,
Well, that was the thing about it. They had a relationship, but they didn't have like a bonded relationship, right? Like, and that's it's an interesting thing because the cliche would be, oh, he falls for her and blah 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 and vice versa, and at the end she
Right.
realizes he's the one. No,
Yeah.
fuck that. It had nothing to do with it. She was just looking for some quick dick.
Yep.
That's all it was, right? And
Yeah.
he realizes it in
And
the
good
end.
for her for getting it and then leaving it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I wanted to go back to the coffin point you were making before, though, because that kind of ties into the point. I forget which one of you were saying it earlier, but like the way that this defined so many aspects of the genre that followed. The coffin's another good example of that because you get like in Snow Crash, he lives in like a fucking like what is it, like a storage
Container.
unit or
Yeah.
container,
Yeah.
And you get in the Matrix, like Neo has like his fucking tiny one room apartment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it seems to be like another hallmark of the genre.
Right.
Well, the desire to escape your
Right.
like tiny world.
Right. Yes,
Fry
great
and
point.
Bender.
Yes, yeah, man.
Well, I was gonna say even
that
like
gets
Ready
a bell.
Player One too.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you get that
yeah,
shitty.
the
You
stacked
live in
containers.
shitty stack of
Sure.
shit.
Or the stacked
Containers,
on
yeah.
they're RVs. I think they were
Right.
like
Oh
trailer,
yeah,
double
they
wides,
were,
and all that.
They
Yeah,
were,
Right,
they were a little bit bigger than a shipping container, but even somebody who lives in a standard American household, I'm like, yeah, that'd be pretty dope. You can get me out of here.
yeah.
That's fine. I cannot believe. Again, I'm still gobstruck by this book was 1984.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of the things they talked about or what they talk about doesn't feel so far away. It's not like teleporting or some shit like that.
That year might be the greatest year in fictional history in the West.
I feel like somebody wrote a book about 1984 that would be impactful.
So let's unpack this for just a quick second.
Sure.
Quick digression. George Orwell writes his novel and bases it, what was it at the time, 35 years over into the future.
Was he writing it in...
It was
39?
1943-ish, I think, is
Okay.
when he started it. It's something like that. It was like
Sure.
post-war. It was whatever, 30-something odd years, whatever. Picks 1984. Randomly, well, whatever it was. In 1984, you get like Amazing Van Halen album, 1984.
Scratch that from the record.
What? You get Neuromancer. You get like all this. If you look at it, like the kind of creative shit that came out in 1984, it's. And thank you for fact checking me here, Mike.
There we go.
As long as I don't have to
It
prove
might
it.
be one of the greatest years of the 20th century.
I will agree, mainly because I was conceived in 1984.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Not born, though.
All right, I'm just looking up 1984 movies.
Oh, that's gross to think about. Why did I say that?
Uh-huh.
Regret.
Movie-wise,
I
there's
was 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm catching up. It's all right.
You're getting there.
Mike is proving he's not a robot again.
You have to prove every time you open your phone.
No,
I just made
it
it up. I
didn't.
just
It
made
didn't
it
do
up.
it that time. But there's not a ton of great movies, actually.
What?
There's
Never-ending story.
There's Cheech and Chong.
Okay, see?
There's Body Double.
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
something called They're Playing with Fire. I don't even know what that is. The Bounty. That was like an Anthony Hopkins movie, I think. Dune. The original Dune.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Redeemed.
The Ewok Adventure. What?
Yeah, actually, you should watch that, but high. It's funny.
Wait, here. 1984's 10 best-selling books. You
Wait,
ready
hang
for
on.
that?
I got
Okay,
one.
go
I got
ahead, go
one
ahead,
good movie.
go ahead.
Are you doing a Pinterest search for 1984's best books?
There was one good movie that came out that year. That was Once Upon a Time in America.
Yes.
Love the movie, but
Mario Puzo?
ironically, it wasn't good at the time because the studio had like destroyed the movie to get it down to like a 2-hour running time.
Yeah.
It's only when that movie's put back into not Sergio Leone, Sergio Leone's original vision of like 4 hours. It is in my top 5 movies of all time.
Damn.
I fucking love that movie.
Damn.
Here's your books. Lincoln by Gore Vidal.
All right.
The Life and Times of Heidi Abramowitz.
Don't know that.
Doesn't matter.
Full Circle by Danielle Steele.
Wait. What?
The fourth,
That name has been around for that many years? Fuck that.
That's not an actual human. It's
No,
at
it's
this
no,
point.
it's just a
robot
brand.
writing it
It's a
now.
brand.
I know it is.
The Fourth Protocol by Frederick Forsyth. We've all read that.
Of course. I signed it to my sophomores.
And Ladies of the Club by Helen Hooven Stanmeyer, or Santmeyer, whatever.
They're all getting tipsy.
The Butter Battle book by Dr. Seuss. Love and War by John Jakes. The Sicilian by Mario
Puzo.
Puzo.
Yeah. I've read that. That's good.
Aquitaine Progression by Robert Ludlum. And Stephen King, The Talisman.
Big strikeout.
All right, so movies,
I'm starting to feel like...
movies and books are not the
Oh,
best
wait, we got
year.
Heretics of Dune, Neuromancer, Hunt for Red October, Wasp Factory.
Oh, Wasp Factory. I failed to finish Wasp Factory, but I did.
Who's that
I did
by?
start that. Ian Banks, I think.
Empire of the Sun,
Oh, that's
Gilgamesh the King.
Empire of the Sun is
Dude, there's way more than that. Was just the top selling books. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
let's remember that top selling, it doesn't always
Empire of the
equal
Sun
great.
is one of my favorite writers, and I'm blanking on his name at the moment. But we actually read one of his books for our ancient book club.
Oh.
Um,
I'm going to pour one out for that book club.
yeah.
Down my throat, but still pouring it out.
Why am I can't think of the dude's name, but it was well, we should bring it back to Neuromancer here anyway.
Anyway, 1984, high watermark.
In humanity.
Just leave it at that.
Is that when the start of the fall of the Soviet Union started?
That was when
Might as well put that
Reagan
there.
was still riding high, and
Sputnik.
and Nancy,
I'm spouting out
mother.
J.G. Ballard. That was the author.
Oh,
Empire
yeah,
of the
yeah.
I thought you were going to say J.G. Wentworth.
I was
It's
not.
my money, and I want it now.
Is that a Buffalo only reference?
I don't know. I think people out in the world will get that for sure.
J.G. Wentworth.
All of our listeners in Botswana are going to know who J.G. Wentworth is.
Our Aussie listeners will. That's
For sure.
So how would you
Absolutely.
do the soundtrack? Since this is going to be a TV series, what would the best possible type of soundtrack be?
Can I go first?
Please.
Trent Reznor.
He's great at everything. Honestly, that's a great pick. I'm going to give you a bell for that.
I mean, that's going to be hard to top. Trent Reznor is incredible at this style of music.
Shit, yeah.
Dude, wow.
Give that
right
man-
off the top of your head, too. Damn.
I was ready.
Fucking nailed that
Ready.
shit.
Yep.
God.
Give that man a guitar, a piano, and some sort of distortion pedal, and that's all I need.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm thinking like you got the 80s.
You don't have to name an artist. Just like what would be the type of music?
I set that. No, I'm just.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
Adam
kidding.
did kind of set that.
I mean, that industrial electronica
Yeah.
thing would work so well for that.
It would.
Shit. Who am I thinking of? There was a 90s. Damn it. There's a 90s industrial electronica band that was on MTV all the time. Who like.
The one
When
that
you
was like, "Hey man, nice shot."
No.
That was the guy from Nine Inch Nails.
No.
Prodigy.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
Bring back Prodigy.
Prodigy. I'm your
I'm
your
all this
neuromancer.
Smack your bitch up.
Twisted neuromancer. Nansa.
But I'll tell you what. That music video
Yeah.
where they're basically just doing drugs the whole time and like you're following somebody on speed, like that's kind of what I think of for a bunch of this movie,
Yeah.
right?
Smack
Like,
my bitch up.
yeah, there you go. That's pretty
Pretty good,
beatboxing.
Sean, man.
So you're gonna be the rhythm section next time we do acapella mics. And also, I own that album. Owned. I don't know where
Yeah.
it went.
A good friend of mine had that in the 90s. We listened to it a lot, actually.
I'll see your Prodigy and your Trent Reznor. I'll raise you some Rammstein.
I want a
We're going
Rammstein X
straight
Trent
up
Reznor.
metal here.
That's what I want.
No. They were like industrial.
Du hast.
Did you not see that during a couple of these scenes in this book, though?
Oh, sure.
Well, like
Sure.
when Molly's fighting someone, like
Yeah.
I get like like you can see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But my only thought is because I think of the fire pyrotechnics that Rammstein plays with, that lends me to think a little too much about Mad Max for this. Great series. Don't get me wrong. We should do a Mad Max cast.
I need to
one.
see
We
Furiosa.
totally
Furiosa,
same.
we
Absolutely.
need
Yeah.
That's, after our summer watch and read, because
Yeah.
that's going to take me all
Guys,
summer.
are we ever going to stop this cast? There's just too much work. To
We'll
be
never.
done.
There
We're
is.
blessed
There is,
with
man.
too much to read and
It's an
watch.
embarrassment of riches. We've only scratched the surface.
Hope you guys are ready
Mike,
to
who would you
listen.
put in charge of the soundtrack?
So this is not one that many people will have heard of, but there's a there's a certain folk singer from the 19th.
Oh, God, no.
No, that was funny, Sean. I'll give you that.
When the man, Jackson, are you ready for the Neuromancer?
That was great.
That's all I got.
That would be awesome.
Yes, hot take. You can cut this out if you want. That musical sucked.
What?
And I'm done.
What
There's a Bob
musical?
Dylan musical, Girl from the North Country.
Oh,
Sucked.
wow. That's
It's Bob Dylan music, and they were like, let's make some scenes, and maybe there's a narrative behind it. No.
that sounds like a bad
Just no.
idea.
It won a Tony.
Did it?
Go fuck you, Tony.
Dude, I could win a Tony
Go fuck
like
yourself.
today by doing our acapella thing of Star Wars could win a Tony for Christ's sake.
We
That's
should
a
do another
low
one for this
bar.
cast,
That's
sure.
a low
I
bar.
don't know. But anyways, I interrupted.
Oh, my real pick is, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, even though it's ironically they're one of my favorite bands. It's called Boren and Der Club of Gore. They're like a fucking German band or something
Are
like
you
that.
having a seizure? Like,
I'm not.
What was that?
No,
He's
it's
fine.
It's,
He's
it's for real. It's for real, man. Look it up. They're it's from they do it's from a genre called dark jazz, and it's like it's like a step beyond noir jazz. It's like if you picture noir jazz in your mind, and you go like darker and midnightier than that. Like that's this genre of music. And this is like this band has had like a lot of success since like the late 90s for that genre. Like they're not something that have broken into like the pop cultural consciousness, but their music is super, to me, perfect for this sort of atmosphere in this book.
Can I tell you that as my car drives me home tonight, because that's where I'm at,
Yeah.
I'm going to find it, and that's going to be my soundtrack.
Yeah. All right, man. But it's
Is it
definitely
like bop, or is it more rhythmic than...
it's very atmospheric, and it's very like, dude, like as you're listening to it, like you just picture like it's not even midnight. It's like 3 a.m. and like you're walking down a street that is completely empty of people. It's raining. You find like one random ass bar is still open, and there's like 2 people in it. Like, it's that kind of jazz.
Yeah,
I'm thinking if it's not already out there, cyber jazz. That's the soundtrack for this. Because
you want Chat GPT making jazz?
I want cyber jazz. Jizz wailing.
Jizz whalers.
No, cyber jazz, man. Like that, like almost like Trent Reznor does jazz. That's what would be the soundtrack for this.
That would be fucking cool.
Sure.
Because the other thing I was gonna say is, who's that band that did Jump, Jive, and Wail? I thought they'd be perfect.
Big band.
Daddy popping, cherry popping daddies. There it is. Yeah.
They need to do the soundtrack for Neuromancer.
Oh my god.
Make me want to jump, and jump.
Oh my god. How many weddings did you go to back in the day?
Just some big band swing type of thing.
Yeah, that makes
shit.
sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fly me to the moon, let me play amongst the stars.
Or like maybe like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones would be a good one.
Yeah. Because you know what? Nothing says dark noir like 90s ska.
I got it better than rockabilly. Stand-up bass rockabilly. That's
there you
the
go.
soundtrack
Some
right
fucking
there.
bluegrass in there. Like we should do the soundtrack. They should just hire us. Nerds of the Older Public is.
I would love to retire. So, random aside, actually, you say rockabilly. My favorite fucking B movie horror film of all time, which sells for $52 on a DVD only on Amazon. You can't download it. You can't stream it anywhere. Is a rockabilly zombie film.
Is it Dead and Breakfast?
It is Dead and Breakfast. God damn you. Good job.
I know
this is why we're friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
That goes back to cast number 1.
I was gonna say I feel like that's been mentioned on the
because
cast.
I keep saying it, hoping that the universe hears my wish. Because I bought it on iTunes.
Yeah.
And then they took there was a disagreement between Apple and the studio, and they took it away from me. And literally my movie went poof.
That's why digital
Into
shit
the
will never be good
cyberspace.
enough.
Yeah. Well, I've learned to back up every single movie I buy.
Yeah.
Now, which is what the Apple tech support told me, and I'm like, but I lost my movie.
Yeah, seriously.
They gave me a rental credit.
Now I'm thinking about that first cast when you made those Bloody Marys with
I
the
thought
chicken
about
wings.
that today. Yeah,
That
the
was
chicken
great.
wings, Bloody Marys, man.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
Things were slower then. It was during the pandemic.
Yep.
And things were slower then.
Yeah. Life comes at you pretty quick.
That's what we need.
Slow down.
We need another big global
Ferris.
pandemic.
Oh,
To slow
That
down.
sounds good.
hot take.
You know what? Hot take, the H1N5. What is it? The bovine that the cows have nowadays that people are getting infected with.
Guys, I'm telling you right now,
It's not fucking cool.
if you're down with another global pandemic, you can hit us up at Mike at Nerds of the Old Republic and tell him what you think.
Yeah. You heard it here first. I want credit for that idea.
Yeah.
I did seriously hope that we would learn something though from like the way life slowed down and how
I
you
agree.
know. I don't want to say that the pandemic was good for our mental health. That's not what I'm saying.
That's not true. I drank way too much.
But
I think
we all
fed
did.
shit from that. Too.
But there were some positive lessons that I don't think we learned at all.
No, and you're absolutely right. Like, as I look at my calendar coming up for the week, it's like there's 4 things on Tuesday at the same time.
Dude,
There's 5 things on Wednesday at the same time.
that whole thing broke me because I spent all the intervening years since going like, you get to like March and you're like, fuck, isn't this supposed to be over now? Aren't I supposed to be home, like not doing anything?
Oh, because, so dear listeners, if you've never listened in, we are all 3 teachers at high school. So our district did not give us direction when the pandemic started. So we were told to stay at home Friday, March 13th, 2020. And that was it.
Yeah,
we
was
were just
it.
told that. So
I
like
built a deck.
that's great. I drink a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not during work hours.
Played a lot of Cards Against Humanity digitally
Sure.
with people.
I played a lot of digital Battleship.
Yeah.
I drank a lot, and I started disc golfing. That was the positive thing that I did.
That's
I
good.
wish I would have been doing that back then. Damn.
Yeah, man. But you're right, Mike. I completely agree. You know, I remember going, this isn't that bad because I can hang out with my family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, what the fuck are we supposed to be talking about right now?
Cut for time. We're at 50 minutes. by
Are
the
we
way.
still rolling?
We are.
We're still hot. All right, yeah.
Hot Mike.
Neuromancer.
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah. Great book. Great
Yeah,
book.
absolutely.
Go in
Only
with the right
2 of 3 of us
expectations.
finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a book. Do not expect it to be a book where you understand it's not a book that like holds your hand. It's not a book where you understand everything that's happening all the time. And that's okay. Like, that is completely okay. Read it for the ambiance, like soak up the atmosphere of it. The prose is beautiful right from that like first sentence that I read before. I think it's such a beautifully written book. You know, that's why you read it, and not necessarily for like page turning plot and understanding everything that's happening.
Yeah. I haven't finished it, and I agree.
Yeah.
It took me a while, like Mike said. It took me a few chapters to finally like wrap my brain around what the fuck was going on. But man, the pace builds and you get into it, and by the time you're done, you're like, "Fuck, I want more."
Right.
So it is one of those ones. Or
There are 2 more.
I didn't realize that. I wish I would have done more research, but I will read the next one at least and find out. what's going
I'm
on.
honestly hard pressed to think of another like analogy for this, where I finished a book where I'm like, God, that was slow going, and I'm not really fully sure I got all of it, and yet I'm like, I'm ready for number 2. Yeah. Bring on number 2.
I'm not kidding when I say like Gravity's Rainbow
Yes.
or Infinite Jest.
Right.
Like,
that was a
same
spot
thing.
on comparison. Absolutely.
I read it and I'm like, this is goddamn beautiful.
Yep.
This is genius. I only understand
Right.
60% of this currently. So
You feel like you're hanging onto the back of a moving truck. Just don't let go. You know,
that's
like,
a great analogy too.
You're,
Yeah.
you're not driving it. You're not comfortably sitting inside. You're just hanging on.
You're there.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Isn't that kind of leads into what we're doing over the summer, right?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to lead into it?
No, you're our leader.
Beep, beep, beep. The bus is backing up over us here as we speak. Now, so we have talked about reading both Cloud Atlas and what else was on to you? Sean, I'm making an eye contact with Sean, who's having trouble finishing
Sean.
his last sip of
Big
IPA.
gulp of this bullshit. Why did I buy this?
Washed it down with Elijah Craig. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Get a big sip of bourbon.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
you feel better.
That'll really help.
So what was? Did we agree on a movie yet? So Cloud
No.
Atlas is the book. We
Goonies.
haven't picked a movie. Well, Sean and I wanted it to be Goonies because Mike.
No, I'm in. I'm in.
We break down this. We've been breaking down Mike's character in that. As a person, he takes pride in not seeing certain movies. So we made him watch Ghostbusters, and now we're like, okay, now you have to watch
and then
Goonies.
I want to be disappointed in his reaction to the Goonies now because
Yeah, he gets to be the
No.
curmudgeon.
yeah, he'll be like, I don't know, guys.
Guys, I don't get it.
I didn't really
I don't
get
get
it.
Yeah.
to properly set the stage. I don't
Andy
take
was
pride
very
in not
sexy.
seeing
I don't
it
get
from
it.
a snob standpoint. I just didn't see it for so many years when everyone else had seen it. And I started taking pride in the absolute shock and indignation it would inspire in people when they learned you hadn't seen the Goonies.
What?
Jaws would hit the floor. People would gasp audibly. People would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And that started to become like a badge of honor.
I'm trying to
I get
resist
that.
jumping over the table right now and beating the shit out of you.
Yeah. No. Don't do that. Because
Don't
now
you
it's
get
our
it?
time. It's our time here.
You're right.
Sean, don't you get it? That's what I want. Exactly.
Give him the
That I
middle.
want to inspire that rage in people.
Goonies don't quit.
So I can't follow up with a quote right now, but you know that house was almost sold to a
Yeah.
developer recently.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird meta thing going on there,
It is
right?
super weird.
Yeah.
Because bringing it full circle, Data from the Goonies was in our last cast in Everything Ever. Data.
We go take Polanski.
Data.
That was a deep cut.
Did you
dude.
just call me Roman Polanski?
No.
No, nothing
Dr.
so nothing so
Polanski.
Oh, that's fine.
sophisticated.
That's
It's
fine.
Roman
Okay.
Polanski.
Okay.
That was a Star Trek reference.
I can accept that. I was like, do not call me a rapist pedophile. No, thank you.
No, God, no.
But
Dr.
so,
Pulaski.
Pulaski. I heard
I might have pronounced it wrong.
That's
sorry.
fine. That's
All right, we've gone off the rails with this podcast.
God bless you. Good luck editing, Mike. Sean, I appreciate that. Mike and I have just run you into the ground for time.
We've
here.
given you some work.
Guys, you don't know how much I laugh when I listen to this and I'm editing it. And then taking all of your great lines out so I look better.
Well, we hope some
I
of
did
the
notice that.
We hope some of the audience does too, minus all those cats people that we lost early on.
You know what? I'm gonna say it one more time. Fuck memories. Fuck Mephisto. Fuck Mephisto with the fist. Mistopheles. Fuck Mistopheles. There it is. A little too drinky.
With a fist.
A little too drunk. Yep. You know what? You can jump on a butt plug.
Oh.
And if you don't get that reference, go listen to our Everything Everywhere cast.
Yes. In fact, listen to all of our casts.
Yeah.
Everywhere. All at once. All at the same time. Just play them all.
7 devices playing at one time.
So what we're sure of is Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
We've settled on Cloud Atlas.
Oh, it's going to be Goonies. I have the
Goonies.
DVD. I have it.
Great. Let's do it.
I'll buy it.
And Goonies.
When you said the other day, when you said it and your lovely wife said that, no, he'll watch it for your kids.
She signed you up.
You said you want to do it for your kids who also enjoy it. So it's not a generational thing. He can't sit there and go like, oh, it's a product of the time. Like his Ghostbusters like cop-out rant.
Yeah.
No. You you are required to fucking love this movie. Yeah. And if you don't, you're out of the cast.
I assume
Whoa,
I will. Like,
we don't make unilateral decisions like that.
All right. That might have been a little harsh.
I'll find out where and when you're recording, and I'll just be the voice. I'll be heckling you from the next yard over the whole time.
Mike's the guy in the background going,
I hated it. It was too long.
Great point, Sean.
I would ding you, but you suck.
Yeah.
That's not how you pronounce it, Adam.
That one really hurt, actually. Very sad about that. They never taught me phonics. It was a whole world.
You were hooked on phonics?
No, but I remember Muzzy, the commercial for learning French via tape. Anyways, at that note, dear listener, if you remember Muzzy, dear God, here's to you. I'm having a sip of water at this point.
Yeah. Good call.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the listen. We'll catch you with Cloud Atlas and Goonies, apparently.
Yes, it's going to be Goonies.
We're doing it.
Yes.
100%.
Never say die.
All right.
All right. At that, stay nerdy, y'all.
Cheers.
We go again.
Oh, well, what can we do?
I think that's good.
Mike has said no.
right.
No more. No
We've
mas.
already forced him to watch Goonies. We can tolerate a no here.
Hey, you guys.
Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here. Up there, it's their time.
Oh, my God. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh,
Rocky
you know what?
Road?
It's going to be so hyped. And then it's going to be like,